Folks, gather round, we gotta talk about America 2050, it's a doozy. This plan aims to reshape America by mid-century. Sounds dramatic, right? It kinda is. Think massive infrastructure projects, population shifts, the whole shebang. It's like someone looked at a map of America and said, let's play SimCity, but for real. Now, America 2050 isn't some fringe theory, it's been bubbling up in think tanks and government agencies for years. The idea? To address some very real challenges, aging infrastructure, climate change, and economic competitiveness. Sounds reasonable, right? But the devil, as always, is in the details. This vision of the future is all about interconnectedness. Imagine hopping on a high-speed train in Atlanta and zooming to Chicago in a few hours. Sounds kinda cool, right? But what about those folks who live in, the actual space between Atlanta and Chicago? That's where things get a bit sticky. Here's a term you need to know: mega-regions. Think of them as supersized urban areas, sprawling across state lines. New York already kind of fits the bill, as does the whole Boston to Washington corridor. America 2050 just wants to make this trend, official, and connect these mega regions with shiny new high-speed rail lines. On paper, this all sounds very efficient: reduce congestion, boost the economy, all that jazz. But some folks, particularly in rural areas, are feeling a little left out. They see this high-speed train to the future bypassing their towns entirely. Let's be real. America 2050 is all about concentrating resources and people in these mega regions. It's about investing in urban centers while, critics argue, neglecting rural communities. Imagine living in a small town, watching your local hospital close, your school lose funding, all while the shiny new train whizzes by in the distance, carrying people to their cushy city jobs. Now, proponents argue that everyone will benefit from the economic growth spurred by these mega regions. But critics counter that this growth comes at the cost of hollowing out rural America even further, and that's before we even get to the folks keeping tabs on all of this. Enter the National Committee for America 2050. This group of experts and policymakers is tasked with, making America 2050 a reality. They're the ones drafting the blueprints, securing the funding, and yes, tracking the progress. That's right, tracking. Now, the details about this tracking are a bit murky, but the idea of a central body monitoring the movement of people and resources, even in the name of progress, has some folks feeling a tad uneasy. And frankly, who can blame them? We've all seen enough dystopian movies to know how this could go wrong. So, there you have it, America 2050. A bold vision of the future, fraught with potential benefits and pitfalls. Whether this vision becomes a reality and what that reality will look like remains to be seen. But one thing's for sure, it's a conversation we need to be having. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go stock up on canned goods and learn how to build a bunker, just in case.